Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but you're encouraged to like and share them on social media. It's time for the Sue Ellen Sanders Show with Sue Ellen Sanders.
Welcome to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, and we're so glad you're here. You may have noticed that we're doing it by Zoom today, and we'll go back and forth. Sometimes we'll be live in the studio, sometimes we'll be Zoom, but hopefully in a few months we'll be Zoomed out. And I look forward to that day, but until then, it's nice for everybody to stay safe and happy. And I'm glad you're here listening or watching this on demand. My guests today are from Habitat for Humanity. And Melissa Winstead is the Director of Development for Habitat. And Donna Lee, how do you pronounce your last name?
Askman.
She is the program director. Is that correct? Yeah. Melissa's shaking her head yes. And like all of the other nonprofit organizations, everybody at Habitat has kind of got to do things differently. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to charities and nonprofits that help people, this is a time where they need our help more than ever. So we need to help the organizations more than ever. So it's not like, Habitat can just say, oh, well, we'll be back when it's more comfortable and safer for us to work with the public and do special events and raise money for those in need. You can't, because not only is the need still there from before, but it's even more. Right, Melissa?
Absolutely, Sue Ellen. The need is greater now than it was before.
So let's talk a little bit about that, about what you're seeing, some of the changes you're seeing in your clientele, really since spring.
Okay, well, I guess I'll start with that. Our clientele, the folks that we are building affordable housing for, we just recently opened up our application program to the community, and Donna Lee can attest that we received a lot of applications. We probably received 40, I think is what you told me the last time we spoke, Donna Lee, 40 applications for our program.
Yes, that sounds right. About 40 applications for this round, yes.
So we have the property that we want to build on, and we are at the end of our year. So we are doing our annual appeal, and we're looking for the community to support us financially so that we can build homes on the vacant property that we own.
So, to talk about Habitat's mission for a minute, your mission is to build homes for those who are in need, but that can also contribute. So you're not just giving away your homes, you're looking for people's buy-in on it. Not buy-in, buy-in's not the right word. What's the word you usually use?
Well, what we do is we partner, and I think that Donna Lee will probably take over at this point because she works so closely with our families, but it's a partnership. Our homeowners purchase the home. They help us build it and they purchase it from us. So that's a good segue for Donna Lee to talk about the program.
So yes, that's a great way to put it, is that we partner with our applicants and that become our homeowners in process. The process itself, the application process, takes about 3 months because we have a committee that helps us choose or select our homeowners. But we have to go through the same as any other lender because we do lend money. So we go through the same federal guidelines that any other lender does. The applicants, once they become homeowners in process, they will actually purchase the property for the appraised price. So we have a third party appraiser come in to appraise the property, and they pay that for that. That's what we sell the property for. The benefit to them is that we do no interest mortgages, and that's how we can give people that really truly need these, that cannot get a conventional mortgage, a property for them to live in and own.
So they just straight away go in and are paying monthly instead of having to come up with qualifying down payment and then pay back the interest, which anybody who's a homeowner knows is quite a lot of a chunk of change.
It is. They do pay their escrow. They pay for homeowners insurance. They pay for their taxes every year. So it's a benefit to the community as well. But that is a benefit to them. And we have, because we are the lender, we can afford to be more creative with the way that we create our mortgages. Sometimes if they can't afford to do the mortgage in one mortgage, we can split it into two. So they can pay off one mortgage, and then once that's paid off, they can pay off another. So it's basically a second silent until they're ready to pay that off. But they have no forgiveness. This is something that they pay for until the house is theirs.
And this is in high demand, as Melissa was saying at the start of the show. You've had 40 applications already for this one piece of property that is going to be your next project.
I believe we're going to be selecting 2 homeowners out of that 40,
awesome.
but that's still a really high volume. And they have to go through a lot to get to this process. So, you know, we know that our homeowners are willing to work with us. They have to be willing to partner because there's other obligations that they have as well. We have financial training that they have to go through, and they have sweat equity, 300 hours of sweat equity or volunteer hours that we require in order for them to get into their homes.
So when somebody applies, do they start to go through some training of the program before they're even accepted?
No, the training starts after, although we have a lot of people that don't qualify for our program, at least at the time that they're applying. And we always say that because their situation could change or our situation could change. So we don't want to discourage them from applying again. A lot of times when people are applying, they have credit issues and they think because it's Habitat, they don't have to worry about their credit, but that's not true because we have the same guidelines that any other lender has. So they do have to worry about it. So a lot of times when they contact me, I always ask them first, if you have credit issues, and if they say yes, then I refer them out to the community partners that we have so that they can get those credit issues handled before they apply.
So even the people that don't qualify because they have credit issues, you're able to help by referring them out to the community partners that can help them get their credit in order.
Absolutely. And a lot of times they don't realize that there's partners out there that can help them for free, and that there are sometimes programs that can help them take things off of their credit report, some collections that they may have that have been sitting out there. A lot of people are unaware of what's on their credit report. They may have things on there that have been on there for years and they have no idea that they're there. So it's always good to be informed and to help people to be educated about their finances.
And unfortunately, the places that charge for those services, they're also the ones that tend to advertise. So
right.
They're the ones, like you said, that people know about, are familiar with. And maybe if they've called one time and found out that they were going to have to pay for those services, they might have been discouraged and not moved on. But there are free resources. There are agencies that will help you get your credit straightened out, or you might need counseling and they can give you counseling. I know some years ago, I got in trouble myself from using multiple charge cards and, you know, spreading it out and then paying the minimum every month. And I thought because I could that it was okay, but it didn't turn out to be very okay at all. So.
Well, and the other point to just add on to what you were saying, we're dealing with a very vulnerable population. So they are targeted a lot more than other populations in our country. So it's great for us to be able to connect with them, and education is really a key proponent of what we do. So yes, passing it along to other agencies that can help them and that partner with us it's just a real joy, and it's a real benefit.
Melissa, you want to hop on in the conversation talking about how Habitat, how the education being a key point, what types of education do you give? Because not everybody Habitat helps are the people who walk away with the homes.
True, that is true. Sometimes in our program, it can take a family a year or a year and a half before they move into their Habitat home. And not only are there potential credit issues that people have to work through, but some folks need to learn how to manage a budget and learn how to take care of a home. Because we all know when you become a homeowner, there's a lot that is involved with that. So there's so many areas of our program that impact families' lives from the moment they apply to the time they move into their home. Just yesterday, we had a home dedication. It was so awesome. We dedicated a home to a couple, and they have 4 kids. And now they're going to start to build wealth, and they are breaking the cycle of poverty in their family. And it was so exciting to be there yesterday. It wasn't our typical home dedication because we're in a pandemic. So it was mostly staff and the family, but it was so beautiful. And we met outside and we passed the key and we blessed it. And we talked about all the things that they were going to do in their home. And they were thrilled at the opportunity that their children could now play outside safely.
And I was lucky enough a few years ago to attend one of the dedications, and with the family, and watch the family and the kids as they were receiving the key to their home. And there were still some people putting the finishing touches on the lawn, and it was so inspiring. And it was the kids that I noticed. It was the how aware those children were about how their life was changing. And it was enough to bring tears to my eyes. Of course, I cry pretty easily right now anyhow, but just their understanding of they're going to be trained up differently. They're going to understand the importance of credit differently than they might have before. They're going to understand pitching in to help around the house. They're going to understand things like home repair and what it takes, because the girls that I talked to, the young girls, they had been there every step of the way, and they saw, how the house was going up, and, they're not going to mess around and do anything to hurt that house. As a matter of fact, they're going to do their part to contribute to it. So it's kind of like, taking it to the point of, if you have your kids help you cook dinner, they're more likely to want to eat it. Well, if your kids are helping to build your house, and they're part of, and I love the way Habitat involves the entire family too, and not just the parents, then that's something that's going to be more meaningful to them to take care of. So it's everlasting, and it must make you feel really good about the lives you're changing.
I would say I feel absolutely wonderful about the lives that we're changing on a daily basis. The family that I think of foremost in my mind is the Clayton family. Recently, I was talking to Tanya Clayton. She's got 6 kids, and her youngest, Grayson, is getting to play with the other children in the cul-de-sac where he now lives, and he gets to go to school, to the same school, and will graduate with these same kids. I mean, he's 5 years old. So by the time he goes off to college, this boy will have lifelong friends. And he would not have had that if Habitat didn't happen for his family.
And Maisie agrees with that.
There's another family that
Looking at me barking for no reason at all.
Sue Ellen, when you were talking about the children, I was actually thinking of the Blackman family, because they were living in a house that really wasn't a good place to be, and they have 3 children. And when we did a huge dedication for them, and when we were finished, we were all cleaning up in the kitchen, and all of a sudden somebody said, "Where's Chris?" And we went looking for him, and he had gone into his bedroom. So he had decided which one was his, and he had taken the quilt that was donated to the family, and he was laying on the floor with the quilt covering him. And so his mom said, "Why'd you have the door closed?" And he said, "Because I've never had a bedroom door." So it was just, it was an amazing moment.
Yeah, a lot of our Habitat kids have to help in some capacity to build their home. Our program relies on sweat equity, and the children work really hard at school to bring home good grades. That applies to their parents, their family's sweat equity, and helps them get into their home. So we like to think of it not only as a community effort, but it's a whole family effort for sure. You're muted, Sue Ellen.
I muted myself because of the dog. But then I opened the back door so they could go out back and bark out back. So you're saying that their grades contribute to what the family has to do? So I mean, I didn't realize that. That's even more awesome.
Yes, we have of that 300 hours, a lot of it is done on the construction site. And just because of the regulations that we have, there are certain age groups that just cannot come out to do things when we have power tools and other dangerous things on the job site. So to make sure that they're involved, other than things like they could do landscaping and cleaning, but we want them to be involved throughout the whole process. So we do the grades as their contribution to the family hours.
That's a great idea. And it is nice to, as you're talking about the family, usually you're dealing with families of children with various ages. And so their contribution can all be a little bit different. So you average one or two houses a year usually, or no, you're shaking your head.
No, actually, when I first joined Habitat 4 years ago, that was our average, about 1 or 2, but now we're up to between 6 and 8 typically in a year.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So,
yeah.
We are growing.
Yes. Yeah. And Sue Ellen, we've also begun a critical home repair program, and Donna Lee oversees that program as well. I try to work on getting the funding to keep Donna Lee busy. That's the way we like to look at it.
That's a heck of a partnership.
Yes, Melissa does a really good job.
Because you're really busy.
Yes, and I'm happy to be busy. It's a really great thing to be.
Well, we're
so
gonna.
Donna Lee, talk a little bit about the repair program and how many families we've helped.
So in the last couple of years, the repair program for Habitat started in roughly 2014 in communities where they just couldn't either afford to, or they didn't have the land, or many different reasons why they could not do the housing, the home ownership programs that we do. So they decided to start repairs. So we kind of jumped in a little bit, but we really didn't get ramped up until a couple of years ago when we got some really nice grants. And since 2018, we have done over 100 repairs for people in our county. And just yesterday, between let's see, what is it now, December, between October and now, we've done 23 repairs. So we're up to over 130 repairs that we've done throughout our repair program. Most of them we've done are roofs, but we do all kinds of different repairs depending on the stipulations for the money the funding that we get. So yeah, so it's just been really great. We're right now working with the city of Port St. Lucie, helping them with their CARES Act funding. And then coming up soon, actually, we have the applications out on our website and on our Facebook, and they're also at our restores. We have a mitigation grant program that we're going to be starting probably in January, where we'll be able to help people strengthen their houses for storm.
And so the applications are going to be on your website. That's the place to look for them, or do you push them out to the community?
We have never had to push them out to the community. We always have a lot of good response. So it is on our website right now, which is our name, stluciehabitat.org. And all of the application information would be under the housing tab. There's several different things under that tab. Right now, the mitigation grant is there along with the CARES Act, but the CARES Act has closed. It may open up again in January. We have no idea how the funding is going to work for that, but if it does, then we'd be happy to continue with that program.
So it's not just people who need to get into a house for the first time that you're helping.
That's right. There's a lot of homes, especially in North Fort Pierce, that are older stock and they need a lot of attention. And a lot of the people that we've been able to help are our elderly population that we want to be able to stay in their homes. They can only stay in their homes if they're safe. So we were able to, through Red Cross, through, and Melissa may have to help me with this, the Egan Foundation and Volunteer Florida, and there was one other one, oh, Habitat Florida. Those 4 organizations helped us with Hurricane Irma damage, and we were able to help mostly elderly people stay in their homes.
That's awesome. And I know, even though I don't consider myself totally qualified as elderly, I can't imagine on some basic home repairs when something happens, you know, my go-to is, well, wait till my husband gets home or wait till my husband gets around to it. And I know there's a lot of those basic home repairs that you can do on your own. And, you know, a lot of times I see him sitting in front of the computer looking at a YouTube channel telling him how to install this or do that. But especially once your home is older, those things seem to happen every day.
Well, they do. And I just think about the population that we deal with. A lot of them are on Social Security. They're in older homes. So if Hurricane Irma came and damaged their roof, and a roofer comes out and tells them that it will be between $10,000 and $12,000, and they live on $771 a month, and that includes having to pay their bills, get their medication, food, all of those things add up to probably more than what they make already. The roofers, they need their money as well. So they will not do it on a monthly basis, on a budget. So we can help them either to do it that way, or we do put a mortgage on their property that is not due until the property is transferred to a no homeowner. So when they sell the property, then we can take the funding at that point.
Take the funding out then. Well, yeah. Even without hurricane damage, there are major things that happen in a house every day. You know, things like the water heater or the AC, or, you know, plumbing disasters. I mean, and you know, I used to think, before I was a homeowner, I used to think that if I treated my home nicely, that nothing would ever break.
I know that's really naive, but but now we know that that's not true. Yeah, so you're talking about some of the different programs that you offer. And Melissa on the development side, she is the one who raises the funds either through private donors or through finding grant organizations to allow you to be able to do that. And I know fundraisers have been severely curtailed this year. So how are you handling that? I know.
Did you all catch that?
I had to move outside to watch the dog because if she's unescorted outside, she digs holes in the backyard. Oh, now she's going to bark at me here. Sorry, go ahead and talk and I'll just hold her mouth.
Well, we're very fortunate at St. Lucie Habitat that we have those monthly mortgages from houses that we've built in the past. So that's a revenue stream that helps pay it forward to build more. We also have 2 restores in St. Lucie County, one in Port St. Lucie and the other in Fort Pierce. And the revenue, I saw you throw that pillow. The revenue from the restores is very helpful. So we're always trying to encourage our community to donate to our restore. The pandemic really put a challenge in the retail environment. Of course, we had our stores were closed for 2 months, nearly 2 months fully. So that was very challenging. Our team at the restores has set up contactless pickups so they can come out to people's homes and pick up their sellable merchandise. So we're excited to have that opportunity to keep that revenue flowing, right, Donna Lee? But we're constantly talking to folks in our community, getting corporate sponsorships, looking for grants, looking for partnerships. Our most recent partnership was actually with 7 other nonprofits here in St. Lucie County. We did sort of a cross promotion. We called it our Give Back Saturday. So we worked with nonprofits. They promoted us. We promoted them. They did donation drives. And then we gave them a portion of our Saturday sales. So that was really great. We tried to work with some nonprofits who were working on the front line and doing the real hard work. So.
No, and I remember seeing some of that, and that was interesting and a nice little pivot to do something different. But you mentioned the Habitat stores because they are back open now. Mm-hmm. And I know your delivery drivers too, they were curtailed at the same time.
Right.
But I have some friends that, and I am part of, that do a lot of crafting. And so they're always talking about getting supplies and needing supplies. And I always suggest going to Habitat. And sometimes you can browse the supplies to see what's out there and then go back home and look for craft projects to go with those.
Right. Well, thank you and your crafting friends for checking out the Restore for some of your supplies. That's really awesome. I know myself that I'm always amazed when I go into the Restore. From one day to the next, there's just amazing finds and amazing deals. You know, if you like to thrift shop, it's really a great way to get bargains. Typically, items are sold at 60% off of their retail value. So there's some great bargains to be had in gently used condition.
And go on, Donna. I'm sorry.
Oh, and I was just going to add that there's paint as well. We sell paint and paint products. There's cabinets, brand new cabinets that come from a manufacturer in Melbourne that we can sell through the Restore. There's all kinds of different things. It's just a plethora of greatness.
Well, and it's one of my husband's favorite places to go to, because it's kind of like a thrift store on steroids. But what's neat about it is, as you pointed out, a lot of the things are brand new. If they're not from a builder, they might be from a homeowner who moved into a new house and decided that they wanted to change out the cabinets or the appliances or something about the house just for personal preference, and not necessarily because anything was old or worn out. And
Right. Right. So, Ellen, I'm really glad you brought that up. We have a very robust deconstruction program. And what that is let's say you're going to remodel your kitchen or your bathrooms, you give us a call. One of our staff goes out to check it out and see if it's something that, the Restore staff feels like they could sell. And then they make an appointment to come in and remove the cabinetry, the counters, the appliances, whatever you're replacing. And then that makes room for the contractors to come in and do the work. It saves you money because you're not having to pay any extra fees to have the contractor remove it. And it's a win-win. Those items are sold in the Restore and go back into building affordable housing in our community.
so it's almost like sending in a transplant team only for the house.
Right.
I mean, that's very, very descriptive in your, picturing, people coming to the house and looking around and then taking the things that they want to change, and then you get the benefit. They also get, credit for their donation at the same
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
So, so those are some of the ways that you receive materials and donations. And I was looking on your website the other day, because people should know that the Restores, there's certain things you look for and there's other things you don't accept at all. So clothing being one of the things that you don't accept. There's plenty of other places that do, but Habitat is not the place for clothing.
We have a big resale for furniture and appliances, construction items. We have a lot of do-it-yourselfers that like to shop our Restores when they want to work on some projects. We have a huge turnover on hurricane shutters. We get a lot of donations for those because people are upgrading their hurricane shutters and donating the older ones to us. So, yeah. Appliances and furniture, those are probably the big sellers, right, Donna Lee? And nothing personal, no clothing, no bedding, no pillows, really.
Yep, I think those are the big sellers.
Yeah, home decor sells really well too.
So even, things like lamps and.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pictures for your wall.
Uh-huh.
And it depends on the environment, because through the pandemic, we went through a lot of bookshelves and desks and filing cabinets because people were working at home. So it just really kind of depends on the time as to what the big sellers are.
And, of course, home remodeling is one of the businesses, one of the industries that's really taken a leap forward in the last 9 months or so, as people are spending more time at home. But then it brings it back full circle, and you realize if you don't have a home, if you're unsure of your living circumstances, or if you have a house that is not stable for you for the future, then that is even more coming to the forefront, because you don't have a safe place to hunker away, to be at home, and that's a concern. And so it comes full circle. You're needed on all those fronts.
Absolutely.
So Melissa, let's talk a little bit about the fundraisers that you have coming up. I know you just did the partner fundraisers, and those were pretty successful because they drove traffic to the Habitat stores, and at the same time, you were able to partner with other nonprofits to help them. What are, yes, what are some of the other things that you have on your plate for the future?
So, Sue Ellen, we're a very small staff and we don't do a lot of fundraising events because, you know, your experience in nonprofit management, you know, it just takes a lot to get events going. So we don't do golf tournaments or runs or anything like that. But what we do is our program, we build and repair homes. So we look at those as fundraisers and we seek corporate sponsorships for that work that we do. And then we connect our corporate sponsors with the families that we're helping. So for instance, a company will donate $2,500. They'll be able to send X amount of people to the job site and help do a repair or build a home. So that's kind of our fundraising events is our program.
One of the other things that I know that I'm really familiar with is your build sites, and those you've kind of had to change the volunteer builds. What are your plans coming up, or you just, now I know I've been a part of several different women build. And that's how I learned to use power tools, and that was great fun.
That's awesome, Sue Ellen. Yeah, you're right. That has really been a challenge for us because we're mandated by Habitat International to keep our volunteer numbers down to about 4 or 5 at the job site at a time. And that's even a good day. You know, prior to this, it was no volunteers. So we're challenged with taking our women build, which is normally a week-long event, and stretching it into possibly 4 or 6 weeks and offering more opportunities on the weekends and during the week for women to engage in the women build, because there's so many women in our community that love to get out there and help build a house, help build a home for a family and meet the family and be part of that. You know, there's one thing, when you help build a house, that house is always there. And anytime you drive by or you're in the vicinity, you're going to remember, I helped that family by building their house. I painted the, you know, little Tommy's room, or helped install, you know, the cabinetry or lay the floor. I mean, it's a really amazing experience to know that you helped put a family into a home.
It is, and actually, one of the first women builds that Habitat did was you tried to have everybody that was involved with it be a woman. And I don't know if you were a part of it or in town at the time, but Doug Davis was involved in it, and he came out and put a dress on to be part of the gang.
So a picture of Doug in that dress.
We have pictures.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure there were plenty.
Awesome.
And you know, it's nice to see how welcomed Habitat has been by the builders in the area, how they've been a part of, you know, they haven't stopped in giving back to you, and certainly home construction is up in our area as well. Absolutely.
Yes. Last year, or was it in late 2018, we worked with Treasure Coast Builders Association on a dream home. And in 3 weeks, TCBA, headed up by Home Crete Homes, Bob Sink, built a home, beautiful home in Port St. Lucie for a local veteran and his family. So that was a great, can you imagine that? A home in 3 weeks?
A home in 3 weeks? No, I cannot. Because I have watched houses being built, and it seemed like people were working really hard, and there were a lot of people on site, and it was taking 8 months. So
yeah,
they must have had so many work people at any given time. That must have been very impressive to see. So so yeah, I understand, of course, that it's just as well that you don't do golf tournaments and runs right now this year, because if you did, you'd have to be doing some postponing and social
Right.
distancing. And it's been, as somebody who does the races, it's been a difficult year for race organizers and a lot of nonprofits that count on these special events, that the more people who come out, the more money you raise for charity.
Right.
So that's been difficult, but you do have an annual breakfast that you did something a little different this year as well.
Yes, actually, you just know so much about Habitat. I love it. Typically, we'll have our annual breakfast in November, and 2020 was probably going to be our best year ever.
You can say that now.
Yeah, we changed our breakfast to be a lunch, a Home is the Key lunch in April. And then we were going to have a gala, our first gala in years and years and years, at Lexus was hosting it for us. So we were so excited. And then COVID.
Yes.
So we took our in-person lunch and we turned it into a virtual event, which was really fun. It was exciting. It, wasn't a huge fundraising success, but it did get the word out about our mission and the fact that we were still building during a pandemic. We had to close our restores. So a lot of our staff, our restore staff, were out on the job site helping to build because we couldn't have volunteers out there. So, we've just got a real vibrant staff that pivoted and figured out how to make it happen. But back to the breakfast, we are hoping to have a gala in 2021 in December. We're going to call it our Home for the Holidays. If I can put this out into the universe, it will happen, right?
Well, we'd like to believe so, yes. It's nice to be able to plan, but I think the best directors of development are those that can plan and then pivot.
We all can pivot. Oh, the entire staff at Habitat are the greatest pivoters. I am so blessed to get to work with them, especially this one here that I'm looking at on the screen. Donna Lee is absolutely amazing.
That's
so
Donna
Lee,
awesome.
Before we wrap up with Sue Ellen, let's talk about the Port St. Lucie lot project that we just wrapped up. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what I really wanted to, the point I wanted to make is that we finished building the 7 lots. So the city of Port St. Lucie had blessed us with 7 vacant lots. And a couple of weeks ago, we went to city council and thanked them because the last of the lots were built and the last of the families were in their homes. And the final family, the Claytons, were getting to spend their first Christmas in their new home. And what we wanted to share with the city council was that the donation of lots that they gave us, valued at $96,400, with homes on them, were now valued at $1,299,000. So building affordable housing in our community is a tremendous community investment, not only in our families, but in our entire community, because we originally had these dilapidated houses that the city had to tear down, and then they were vacant, ugly lots. Who wants to have a vacant lot next to their house with a portion of a driveway still there? So we took those vacant lots and built beautiful Habitat homes and put amazing families into each one of those houses. And the city of Port St. Lucie are thrilled that we were able to partner and make that happen. So
I'll bet they are. And, the county, St. Lucie County too, you have these homeowners that are now paying property taxes, and the value has increased so much. And you have homeowners that are doing the day-to-day things in the neighborhoods of Port St. Lucie that, we all, whether you're going to the grocery store or getting takeout or, just they don't have to worry about the roof over their heads. So
Right.
now they're able to do other things to
Absolutely.
survive. Are there plans to do something like that again?
Well, so I want to say first about the taxes, the property taxes. Donna Lee had estimated that those 7 lots contributed about $28,000 in property taxes in 2020. So
Wow.
amazing.
That was from zero, because we don't pay property taxes when we're a nonprofit. So that's a huge increase.
Exactly. So our next major project is to develop a community land trust. So we are scheduled for training next month, the staff at St. Lucie Habitat, to receive community land trust training so that we can create this structure to build affordable homes that stay affordable in perpetuity. So that's the goal with community land trust. So hopefully we can partner with our municipalities on the land and funding and keep the housing stock, the affordable housing stock, as truly affordable forever.
How do you do that? How do you make sure that, or are you going to learn that next month?
I have my primer right here in front of me that I've been studying. But the basic gist of it, my understanding, is that the land isn't sold to the homeowners, just the house. It's kind of like a condo. You own a condo, but you don't own the land.
Gotcha.
Part of the ground lease is that the person or the family who buys it next, when the family's ready to sell it, has to be a family that needs affordable housing.
Right. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, that is definitely something to aspire to, and certainly people in St. Lucie County and both the city of Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie can see that you've done all you promised with the land that you were given by the city of Port St. Lucie and more. And so maybe some more of that will happen.
We're hoping so. And the dedication we had just yesterday was a property that the city or that the county had given us in addition to some funding. Isn't that correct, Donna Lee?
Yes, that's correct. We partnered with St. Lucie County on that property.
So who else can donate property to you? Will you take property donated by a private landowner too?
Absolutely. Have you got some land you'd like to donate?
Oh, no, not me, but maybe I know somebody.
Please tell them about us. We'd be happy to chat with them.
One of the homes that we're building right now is from a private donation.
So, people know that they can donate their appliances, they can donate their kitchen cabinets, but they can also donate the land or a home,
stocks and vehicles. Yeah.
Yep.
And homes. If a home wouldn't qualify as an affordable home that was bequeathed to us, we could sell that and build affordable housing with it. So
it really, if you can, especially for families who don't have people to pass things along to in their will, this would be ideal to really make a difference in your community and in the people in the community, to be able to leave your home to an organization like Habitat.
We think so. Thank you for saying that.
So let's talk about how to contact you. We just have a few more minutes. Obviously, you have a lot that's going on, and if people need to get information about development issues, which would be donations or fundraisers or sponsoring things, Melissa, you would be the person for them to talk to.
That's correct. My email is Melissa, Melissa, at stluciehabitat.org.
And then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And my phone number is 772-464-1117.
Okay. And Donna Lee, people they can access the applications on their own by going to the website. Who are the people who need to contact you directly? Other than Melissa, of course.
Yes, she keeps me very busy. I love it. Anyone that's interested in our programs, I'd be happy to talk to them, whether it be repairs or home ownership. But I also will talk to anyone that's interested in volunteering or just wants to know more about Habitat. And they can reach me at Donna Lee, DONNALEA at stluciehabitat.org, or they can call 772-464-1117, extension 104.
104. Okay. And then the webs, you have social media, and you also have a very active informational website. And the website is
stluciehabitat.org.
So it's easy to find. And you also have Melissa, help me. I know you have Facebook. Do you have Twitter and Instagram as well?
Yes, we do.
Of course you do.
And we're on YouTube.
And YouTube. What kind of stuff do you have on the YouTube?
Well, our Home for the Key videos are all on there. A few home dedications are on there. Yes, there's some good stuff on YouTube.
Awesome.
I have a whole program for homeownership as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, this has really been an informative hour. I appreciate you, Melissa and Donna Lee, for being a part of the show. We'll see you next week with more. Thanks for listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're here every weekend. Bye. Thanks again.
Archives of the Sue Ellen Sanders Show are on YouTube under WPSL TV. Look at the schedule at WPSL.com to find out when Sue Ellen is on.